Welcome to Travel Nation. Today, we go far beyond borders and deep into the mind of a man whose name still echoes through the ages, Napoleon Bonaparte. This isn't just a biography. It's an odyssey of ambition, brilliance, betrayal, war, and redemption. A story of meteoric rise and catastrophic fall, written in blood and glory across the face of Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769, in the rugged, sun-drenched mountains of Corsica. Just 1 year earlier, the island had been sold by Genoa to France. The Corsicans were fiercely independent, and young Napoleon grew up in a culture of resistance. His father, Carlo Buonaparte, a lawyer with modest noble roots, gained favor with the new French rulers, allowing Napoleon to attend elite military schools in France. From the start, Napoleon was different. Short, reserved, intense, he was often mocked for his Corsican accent and outsider status. But behind his quiet demeanor was a relentless drive. At the military academy in Brienne and later at the prestigious École Militaire in Paris, he devoured books on history, philosophy, and especially the tactics of great generals like Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and Hannibal. War, he believed, was the great equalizer, the arena where greatness could be seized. Commissioned as an artillery officer at just 16, Napoleon saw little action in his early years. But everything changed with the French Revolution. In 1789, the ancient monarchy collapsed. The revolution unleashed chaos, blood, and opportunity. Overnight, aristocrats lost their heads, and merit rose above birthright. For a young soldier of modest means, this was a door kicked wide open. In 1793, he got his first real chance. Royalist rebels and British forces had seized the port of Toulon. Napoleon, then just 24, orchestrated an audacious plan to bombard the enemy into retreat. It worked brilliantly, and his name lit up in Paris. He was promoted to brigadier general. Within 2 years, he'd quashed a Parisian uprising against the revolutionary government with brutal efficiency, using grapeshot to scatter mobs in the streets, a move that earned him both fear and fame. By 1796, he was given command of the Army of Italy. What followed was one of the most dazzling military campaigns in modern history. His army, poorly equipped and underfed, faced superior Austrian forces. But Napoleon didn't just outfight them, he outthought them. He marched rapidly, struck unexpectedly, split enemy forces, and won battle after battle at Lodi, Arcole, and Rivoli. Each victory amplified his legend, and his bulletins to Paris painted him as a near-mythical figure. He was not just a military commander, he was a political operator. He used propaganda to cement his image as the guardian of the revolution, even as he concentrated more and more power in his own hands. In 1798, he turned to Egypt, seeking to disrupt British trade with India and spread French influence in the east. Though he crushed the Mamluks at the Battle of the Pyramids, his navy was destroyed by Admiral Nelson at the Battle of the Nile, stranding his army in North Africa. Even so, Napoleon's expedition to Egypt had unexpected consequences. His team of scholars and scientists uncovered ancient treasures, including the Rosetta Stone, which would later unlock the secrets of hieroglyphs. Though his military goals failed, his scientific and cultural impact endured. Back in France, the political scene was unraveling. The Directory, the ruling executive of 5 men, was corrupt and weak. Sensing his moment, Napoleon slipped back into France in 1799. With the help of allies in government and the military, he orchestrated the coup of 18 Brumaire. In a stunning turn, the young general became first consul, effectively the ruler of France. As first consul, Napoleon transformed France. He centralized administration, reformed taxation, established the Bank of France, and codified laws under the Napoleonic Code, a legal system that survives in many countries today. He also made peace with the Catholic Church, signing the Concordat of 1801, re-establishing its presence while keeping it under state control. He was simultaneously a man of the Enlightenment and a pragmatic autocrat. But peace would not last. In 1804, Napoleon took the ultimate step. In the Grand Cathedral of Notre Dame, he crowned himself Emperor of the French, literally taking the crown from the Pope's hands and placing it on his own head. It was a theatrical gesture of absolute authority. He no longer served the revolution, he had surpassed it. From 1805 to 1809, Napoleon unleashed a series of breathtaking military campaigns across Europe. At Austerlitz, he annihilated the combined forces of Austria and Russia, using deceptive terrain tactics that military academies still study. He crushed Prussia at Jena and Auerstedt, occupied Berlin, and forced the Treaty of Tilsit on Russia. By 1810, he dominated most of continental Europe. But he didn't just conquer, he reshaped. He redrew borders, installed puppet kings, including his brothers, in Spain, Italy, Westphalia, and Holland. He dismantled the Holy Roman Empire and created the Confederation of the Rhine. His civil code replaced feudal laws. He exported revolutionary ideals, education, meritocracy, secular governance, even as he ruled as a monarch. Yet with each conquest, resistance grew. The Peninsular War in Spain became a bloody quagmire, with guerrilla warfare draining French forces. Meanwhile, Britain remained unconquered and undefeated at sea. Napoleon's continental system, an economic blockade against Britain, crippled European economies and turned allies into enemies. Then came his most catastrophic mistake, the invasion of Russia in 1812. Assembling the largest army Europe had ever seen, over 600,000 men, Napoleon marched east. The Russians, under General Kutuzov, refused to fight, retreating deeper into their vast interior. Napoleon won a Pyrrhic victory at Borodino but entered Moscow to find it abandoned and burning. With winter descending and no supplies, the retreat began. It was apocalyptic. Starvation, frostbite, disease, and constant Cossack raids destroyed his army. Less than 100,000 survived. Europe now smelled blood. A grand coalition formed: Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, Sweden. In 1813, they defeated him at Leipzig, the Battle of Nations. By 1814, Paris fell. His marshals turned against him. Napoleon abdicated and was exiled to the island of Elba. But he wasn't done. In 1815, he escaped Elba, landed in France, and began a march toward Paris. Soldiers sent to arrest him defected. Crowds cheered. In just 20 days, he retook the throne. It was one of the most incredible political comebacks in history, the 100 Days. Europe reacted swiftly. At Waterloo, on June 18, 1815, Napoleon faced the Duke of Wellington and the Prussians. Despite initial success, poor weather, late deployment of reserves, and the arrival of Blucher's forces sealed his fate. Napoleon was defeated. He surrendered to the British and was sent to his final exile, St. Helena, a remote, wind-swept island. There, surrounded by a few loyal followers, cut off from the world, he dictated memoirs, blaming others, defending his legacy, rewriting history. He died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. The official cause: stomach cancer. But suspicions of slow arsenic poisoning persist to this day. Even in death, Napoleon's story wasn't over. In 1840, his remains were returned to France with full honors and entombed under the Golden Dome of Les Invalides in Paris. Pilgrims still visit his tomb, some in awe, others in judgment. He left behind a reshaped Europe. Nations rose and fell in response to his wars. Legal systems across the globe reflect his reforms. Military doctrine bears his stamp. And the debate over his legacy, genius or tyrant, hero or despot, continues. He was a child of revolution who crowned himself emperor. A master strategist who overreached. A lawgiver who spread liberty with the sword. He gave France greatness but left it ruined. This is Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who dared to bend the world to his will, and paid the price. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Subscribe to Travel Nation for more epic stories that changed our world forever.